Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another tech rant where I am about to go off on this stupid thing that a lot of manufacturers are doing, and that is solving the notch problem. Now, the first part of this is going to be a rant and saying just how pissed off I am at this stupid trend that any manufacturer that follows really does not know their customers, and especially their ones that are planning on buying new phones this year. After that, we're actually going to solve the notch problem. There is a ultimate solution to the notch problem, and it's something very simple and actually an older technology that people just haven't realized they can do now, and it solves it. So let's get to it. So first of all, what is the notch problem in this industry? It's because of this phone, the iPhone 10, or as I continue to always call it, the iPhone X. Now, here's the big thing about this stupid phone looking design. The whole premise of this is that no one I've ever heard the phrase say, "I love the notch." People say, "I don't even notice the notch. I don't really notice the notch anymore. Oh, it doesn't bother me that much." No one says, "I love the notch." If you gave a person an example of a notch iPhone or a completely screen-free iPhone with no notch on it and just full screen, they would always choose the full screen iPhone without the notch. Period. So I think we can all agree on that, right? If you don't, please leave it in the comment section. I have yet to hear someone say they genuinely love the notch design. Now, based off that premise, the problem is Android manufacturers in the past, and definitely now with this stupid thing, have said and followed the Apple trend at times, right? They've taken little things. Now, usually it's been the best parts about it. Hey, let's use HVEC style coding so that we can shrink our 4K videos so that they don't take up as much storage. That is a good thing to follow. But when you follow Apple at this stupid thing, you don't realize that Apple for a while now is not the trendsetter anymore in terms of the looks department and the practical department. You don't believe me? Look at this stupid thing. Or this stupid thing. Or the fact that you can't even plug in your lightning headphones that come with your iPhone into your MacBook Pro. This is stupid. Apple does not have the creativity that they did once have with Steve Jobs, and it definitely shows in these poorly designed ideas. So, let's get to the problem. Well, OnePlus is going to release their phone soon, and that we already know will have a notch. Now, this is a smaller notch compared to the iPhone 10, and that was their solution. Well, we made the smaller notch, and their CEO just came out with the article. I'll leave it in the comment section, basically on, why we need the notch. Right now is the time where we need the notch. Here's the thing. There's a big problem, and OnePlus is really going to get a backlash for this, because they didn't realize their consumers are the most anti-Apple consumers you can find. Android purists, as I like to call them, is basically, people that love stock Android. Oxygen OS is basically a better version of stock Android in my opinion, so they have a really great feature with that. However, they do not understand their clientele, and you can see in this article, the CEO is trying to fluff it up, even though, look, we know they're just going to take the Oppo phone and rebrand it the OnePlus. But here's the big thing. He keeps saying we want to optimize the screen. We want to get as much screen as possible. Do you really think your consumers give a shit about that little space? No. We would have taken, without that, having the same design as an S9 or any other phone that just has a bezel. That's it. We don't need that notch. The notch annoys us and it looks stupid. Design is important. But OnePlus is not the only one. You also have LG rumored to have a stupid looking phone as well called the G7, or probably not. They are going to rebrand it. LG needs a win this year, and they're rebranding the G series, so it probably won't be called the G7. But the leak that we had was the G7 Neo at CES with the stupid looking notch, which looks horrible. Very, very horrible. Not only that, but now manufacturers are actually beginning to hide it in their marketing. The Asus Zenfone 5Z looks identical again to the iPhone with the notch. Did you realize this phone has a notch right now? No, because the marketing is really trying to hide that notch by having a black screen on the top so you barely notice the notch. You hide the notch. They even put something in the OS to actually completely hide the notch, so it's always going to be black at the top and moving the notch down, which is again what you should be doing to begin with. That is the only practical way of doing it. However, here's the main thing. There are solutions out there for getting rid of the notch. The notch does not need to exist. It's a stupid look. Apple at least did it with the idea of Face ID. They needed more sensors at the top, so they couldn't get rid of it or minimize it, so that's why they have a notch. It's still a stupid looking design and a stupid way of trying to do full screen without being able to, but let's solve the notch problem now. Let's really just save these companies millions and millions of dollars of people not buying their phones and help them out. So this is how you solve the notch problem. So first of all, there are several things in the notch area that you need to address, right? So the first and foremost, there's the Samsung design where, you can actually see that you have this top part very thin, but again, traditional looking phone style, right? So that is what Samsung is doing. It actually is why Samsung is still considered probably the best design and best looking phone right now, because again, they were just like, yeah, we're just going to minimize the bezels until we figure something out, not the notch. So that's one thing, right? But let's really push it forward. So the two main things we have at the top that we have to keep is the front facing camera and the front-facing speaker or earpiece to hear your phone conversation. Now, Xiaomi was the one that started this full-screen display thing. On the very first Xiaomi Mi Mix, what they did was they used sound vibrations on the screen. They had no earpiece. Sound vibrations on the screen. That technology wasn't as well received. It's just not there yet. It's great for Sony's TVs that do this similar kind of technology, but it's just not there yet for hearing it and having it on your ear. It's not there yet. However, what Xiaomi did for their latest version, the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2, is just make it extremely thin. So you see the top of that screen right there? That has an earpiece still, but it doesn't have the camera up there. So that top is what we want, right? This top of the phone is what every phone should have in the future. A very, very minimal speaker and earpiece, but it's right up there. It's so small. So that's perfect. The poor design on this phone is that right down there, the camera is at the bottom. It's a weird angle. It just looks awkward and it just doesn't fit with everything we want in the future of being able to do things. It's a really weird design. It's kind of like that whole having the webcam on the bottom. Webcams we don't use that often, but camera front screens we do. So that's going to be a big thing. So let's get to the real innovator in this industry that's really pushing strongly right now, and that is Vivo. Vivo solved two problems with their concept phone that was released at CES and MWC. So the first one is the touch sensor fingerprint scanner. This is really cool, and we are seeing it in phones like the Huawei P20 Porsche design series already as well. So that's really cool. This technology is coming out. Hopefully it will be coming out with the Note 9, maybe the Pixel XL3, and other phones to come out later this year. But the big thing about this is with this front-facing scanner for your fingerprint, you get rid of the need to have any kind of fingerprint scanner on the bottom, right? Long is the fingerprint scanner on the bottom style. We get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. So that would be a perfect start for one issue, right? We got the speaker, we got the front-facing fingerprint scanner in the screen, so those two technologies solve that. They try to solve the camera one as well by being able to have a pop-up camera. Now that's a really cool concept. It's very new though, and the fear is, of course, well, this is another mechanical part that can break. Now the ingenious of this feature though is that when you go into selfie mode, that's when it pops up. It only pops up when you go into selfie mode, and that's it. That's the only time it pops up, otherwise it does not. Okay, so that sets the stage. We figured out one way to solve the front-facing camera. We figured out one way to solve the security feature of having a fingerprint scanner built into the display. And we also solved the speaker. The earpiece just has to be very thin and it can still be there, as we've seen a company do before. So, is that it? No. I feel the pop-up camera is a cool concept, but it makes the phone a lot thicker than I feel that a company like Apple or like Samsung or some of these big companies and players will allow for. It just makes it too thick. Even though, as consumers, we keep telling them, you can make the phone thicker, just give us a bigger battery. I swear to God, if their Note 9 doesn't have a 4,000 milliamp battery, I will cuss out Samsung. That'll be another tech rant. But actually, there is a solution for it that I feel is a lot better. And it comes from another company and even Samsung in their old point-and-shoot cameras. And that is this phone right here. This phone right here is the Meizu Pro 7, and really the big thing about it is that what you do is you don't really need a front-facing camera if you think about it. Why? The rear camera is so much better. It is so much better for everything. But you're gonna ask, well, Ricky, what I need to be able to video chat, I need to FaceTime, I need to hang out, I need to Allo, whatever kind of service you're using, Skype, doesn't matter. You need to be able to do those things, and not to mention Snapchat, Instagram, all these different apps. There's a solution here, and that is a screen on the back. So if you just have a screen on the back, what you can then do is actually just take a picture. I can see myself on this display while I take the photo, and now I have a much, much higher quality photo than I ever would have with the front-facing camera. But think about this. Having a screen on the back would also make it so you can actually view yourself on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on any of these services, and you can still have cases made to cover them up and make it simple, clean, and easy to use. So those do exist. It's not that, oh, well, as soon as you put that, then you can't have cases. You can. Not to mention, this is a glass backing. How many phones have glass backings in this day and age because they want to keep wireless charging, which is better for your battery life. Watch other shows for that. But the really big thing is if you can have a screen so you can just always have it back there, you can see exactly how everything looks, it's perfect. And you can talk to someone on Skype like this, FaceTime, whatever you want to do. You can actually see yourself, and it just solves the problem so much better than any of these current solutions have. And the thing is, Samsung used to do this in their point and shoots. When these selfies really started taking off, basically they had a front screen in their cameras and it allowed you to take a selfie. That was really the infancy of as selfies took on. So that's the thing. That's the big solution for it. If you have a rear screen, just a little small one, you can make it bigger, of course, but just a rear screen, you can still have cases for it. We have lots of different cases for this phone, and we are giving it away for April. So if you want to check out the giveaway, make sure to check out and subscribe. But there's lots of different cases that fit it so that you can actually have this perfect solution of having the earpiece on the top. Stop bothering with having a stupid front-facing camera that's never gonna be as good as the rear camera anyway. And you have a fingerprint scanner in the display for your security, easy access. This solves it. If a smartphone does these three things, we get the full screen display that we have been longing to have ever since we've seen the bezels go away more and more. This solves everything. This gives you a perfect selfie camera. It gives you the ability to use apps on the rear camera so you actually can have the best quality. This is my solution. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Again, this notch just annoys the hell out of me and it upsets me so much, but there is a solution out there. If you like this solution, please share this with every manufacturer you can, because this is really, I think, the end game that can get us to the best smartphones that we really want in 2018 and probably more likely 2019 and 20. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And by the way, any company wants to hire me, because I obviously do way better market research than they do, let me know. Thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.